Hey, how's it going? So here I am in Poznan, no shades.
I don't want no shades!
Stayed at the B&B Hotel, wonderful hotel. This is the second time I've stayed here. The first time I ever stayed in Poznan, I stayed in this exact hotel. And I have to say, for £30 a night, which is what I'm paying at the moment, it's bloody good. I got a big bed.
Okay, well, this is my kind of hotel room.
A little bit messy, I'm recharging my batteries over here. Just unpack my stuff, passport's lying on the bed. But it's nice, I'm on the 5th floor and I think this is the top floor of the hotel. View of the main square out here, we can have a look out here and see. It's just been raining. It's £30, I've got a desk over here.
Why do I have such a small desk?
If I move the kettle at least, with free waters.
Water's good.
Place to put my suitcase. I don't normally travel with a suitcase, but I have decided this time I am. Shower, I just used it, works really well. Nice solid bathroom, it works really well. And for £30, I cannot complain.
Seems fair.
You might remember if you've seen my previous video, and if you haven't, maybe go back and watch that. It's not an old video. I was here probably 11, 12 months ago in the summer. It's changed a little bit, it's already changed.
This has changed like people change, you know, like when you start to grow hair, Odell, down, you know what I'm talking about.
We already know that this square had a lot of beer places and places to drink, places to eat. I tell you, this is one of the better mass-produced beers in Poland. Now, there is none of that, and the construction still continues around here. It's a little bit disappointing, but I think it's because the Poles, when they set about doing things, they actually set about doing it correctly.
A man should take pride in what he builds.
As you can see, there is people still working on the courtyard here, and there are people still working on the road here. They're building tram lines all over Poznan. Now, the center of Poznan is that way, but I'm going to be heading this way because it turns out a lot of the things I missed in my last video are this way. So we're going to go check out what is the equivalent of a concentration camp.
Concentration camp? That's what I thought.
A fortress and a few monuments. So join me.
Well, welcome to another one of my videos. I'm Alex and I'm the Wandering Englishman. Thank you sincerely for taking the time to click on the video and making it at least 2 minutes into the video. This is, as you just heard, my second video on Poznan, and I'm really hoping you're going to enjoy this one.
When I arrived yesterday, it was raining and I thought, well, actually I'm going to rest up, have a bite to eat, get rested so I can go about today. I was really hoping that this would all be finished, but it isn't finished at this moment in time. Construction takes a long time, I guess. As you walk west, we see this beautiful theatre, closed obviously at the moment because it's the early morning, but you can see that it's active. A lot is going on here. Different productions. And it looks like a nice place for the locals to have theatres, but as you can see, all the roads are still being constructed. They really are going to town when it comes to the renovation of this city. I predicted in 2023 that this would all be ready. I was wrong. Maybe we're going to have to wait till 2025 until all this is done. Very nice. Well, I just had my one pair, but very nice shoes. Thank you very much. It's a town of diggers, it really is. And look at this, it's sort of 1960s, 1970s building maybe, probably 60s. Bit of Soviet architecture going on here. I can't imagine this was built post-Soviet days.
It turns out I underestimated this building. This building was actually built in 1954, so it is 70 years old and then some, depending on when you're watching this video. Quite remarkable, really, and it is actually one of the more iconic buildings of Poznan. Due to its cylindrical design, it remains a favorite with the people of Poznan, even though it has that brutal Soviet architecture.
I'm going to have to ask the locals if they're disappointed at the lack of speed, or are they actually very pleased because they're getting the job done at least. I mean, it's clear that there's people working on this project, and from what we'll see later, we're going to see that a lot of this construction is very well done. You can see the standard of cobblestones here. It's a reasonably high standard, but it makes getting around this city really problematic. I've now got to go all the way down here to get round.
Super, będę filmał pana?
Yeah. I don't know what she said. I have no idea what she said actually. But nice smile. It wasn't aggressive. Sometimes you get people when they're getting filmed, they get a little bit aggressive. They don't like to be on camera.
Hey! No, I wasn't. Don't film me, Deborah. Don't film me.
But in this case, I think she was friendly. Anyone know what she said? One of the, obviously the main ways to get around Poznan, the tram. It's a good way to get from the station to the centre. Although every time I've come from the station, like this time once again I came from Berlin, I just walked. And it's a very nice walk. You can be in the centre from the station 10-15 minutes. It's a nice walk as long as it's not raining. The last video was 24 hours in Poznan. Of course that's never going to be enough to see everything. Here we effectively have another 24 hours in Poznan. Beautiful Catholic church just around the corner from where we were when that lady was just smiling a moment ago. Looks closed. Ah, here's the door, is open. Should we go in? Let's have a look. It'll be very quiet. Let's take my hat off.
This is the Church of the Holiest Saviour. It is an architectural jewel of neo-Gothic design, deeply rooted in spiritual and historical significance. Constructed in the early 20th century during Poland's pursuit of independence, it stands as a symbol of Polish resilience and identity. The church's funding by local parishioners showcases a remarkable collective effort and unity. Its exterior with detailed stonework, pointed arches and ribbed vaults, and soaring spires reflects the aspirations of human faith and spirit. The interior, I love, is adorned with vivid stained glass windows illustrating biblical stories and saintly figures, while the commanding high altar serves as a focal point as you look down the church. During the upheavals of the Second World War, the church served as a beacon of hope in Poznan amidst the city's struggles. The efforts to restore it after the war highlighted the community's commitment to its preservation. Today the church transcends its religious role, becoming a vibrant centre for cultural and spiritual gatherings, hosting events that integrate the sacred with the community life. The Church of the Holiest Saviour, with its blend of architectural grandeur and historical depth, and the role in the community, stands as a significant landmark showcasing the resilience and the rich traditions of Poznan and its people.
Completely empty other than one Asian tourist who just walked in. Look at this, look at this powerful statue of Jesus over here. That's a nice statue. This could be the fortress that I've come to see. Could be wrong, but let's put the camera down and have a look at the map. Wow. Going. I think I'm going to try and walk around this place to see if there's an obvious entrance, because it seems a bit suspect. If this is a working fortress and there's a garrison of men,
The garrison may have moved out.
the last thing I want to do is suddenly trespass. There's quite a few cameras, but look at this dragon artwork.
This bears the mark of the dragon people.
I might find myself having to walk around the entire block to actually go in the same entrance, but I think it's better to be safe than sorry. Last thing you want to do is offend the Poles. They're good people, the Poles. Never had any issues, the Poles. The men are gentlemen, the women are ladies.
I won't hear a word said against the Poles.
Automatically it shows me how much I did miss, and the fact that I avoided the west side and I was drawn into the centre and then on the east side for some strange reason. Here we go, this looks a little bit more like a welcoming entrance. Look at this. Wow. And you can kind of see what they've been up to. You can see that this pavement is all new, and this is what they've been trying to do for the rest of Poznan. And around here it looks very beautiful, all thanks to the hard-working men here. Let's go inside this fortress and find out what it's about. It turns out as soon as you enter the information, I think it is actually doubles up as a cinema. It doubles up as a grand hall, a cafe, a bookstore, a cloakroom, toilets. I was expecting it to be, this is due to lack of research, I was expecting it to be a fortress where there was maybe working men. It turns out it doesn't open until 12, 2 to 3 hours early. There's an exhibition going on here.
The Imperial Castle was constructed between 1905 and 1910 for the German Emperor Wilhelm II. The castle is one of the last and grandest residences built for the German monarch. It was designed by prominent German architects, and the castle showcases a neo-Romanesque style, characterized by its grand scale and robust forms. But unfortunately, I'm left only able to look at the art, as the castle was not open when I got here.
So we can't effectively go into the Imperial Castle until later, but if we wanted to, it was built in 1905 by the Germans. It's been used ever since as government offices. It was the home of the Nazi Party. It's seen some things. There was a tower in the middle that apparently got demolished when the Nazis were forced out of the city in 1945, but it's a fascinating place. Look at this, look at how dynamics of the city. We've got these old buildings here, maybe the same sort of era. And we've got these, I don't know, some people might call it monstrous modernism. The glass buildings over here and some modern offices. But we're going to go this way, in this direction, I believe. And we're going to go see the concentration camp. A lot of atrocities happen in Poland. A lot of good men and women died. But it's a long walk, so we're going to see some things along the way. Examples of this around every single corner, as long as I can get out of here. Monuments. So what I'm going to have to do is hop over the wall, I think. Literally the only way to navigate around the city, hopping over walls. I managed to navigate past the construction and get onto this very, very recently renovated, beautiful square. Probably this wasn't in all its glory when I was last here. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But over here we have this beautiful monument to sort of remind us of all the troubles and all the hardship that the Poles went through. Starting with the first date, 1956. This was the Poles basically protesting against the Soviet occupation. Now, the Soviet occupation was immense. They had tanks, they had soldiers, and the Poles, all they had was just their grit and determination to say, look, we want workers' rights, we want better conditions. But in 1956, huge protests happened in Poznan and up and down Poland. What effectively happened was the Soviets crushed in a brutal way the opposition of the Poles. They imposed martial law. In Poznan, people died. Many, many more were injured. Many were arrested. Many were locked up. Many disappeared. 1968, the date when the Soviets, despite what had happened to the Poles under the Nazi occupation in Germany, there were still some Poles remaining in Poland. By 1968, this was when the Jews were forced to leave Poland. 1970, more protests due to conditions. Martial law was imposed. 1976, similar situation. 1980, it was a Polish crisis. People were protesting. The Poles really didn't like the Soviet occupation. And in 1981, martial law was imposed. It wasn't until 1990 did the Soviet Union collapse, which basically brought jubilation, hope to people of Poland. But it wasn't until 1993 did Soviets/Russians eventually leave Poland. The Soviet Union may have collapsed in 1990. The last soldier to leave was in 1993. And by that stage, Poland was effectively free. Free from its oppressors, free from tyrants, free from people that had no right to be there. But this is a beautiful, beautiful monument, I think is the best way to describe it. Now, if you remember from my previous video on Poznan, where we saw the Poznan Cathedral, we would have seen Poland's second favourite poet. But this is, and I mentioned the #1 poet. If you can rank poets, I don't think you can. Mr. Keating from Dead Poets Society would be in shock and ashamed to rank poets.
Excrement. We're not laying pipe. We're talking about poetry. How can you describe poetry like American Bandstand? Well, I like Byron, I give him a 42, but I can't dance to it.
But this is Adam Mickiewicz. This is possibly one of Poland's greatest poets. course there would have been a statue. I'm shocked that I didn't think to find it last time I was here, but I just simply didn't have time. Look at these phenomenal buildings. Poland is one of these countries that, due to its pleasant surrounding, due to the homogeneity of the people, it is actually a very beautiful place to live. I could see myself living in Poland. And maybe as the West declines, if the Poles will have me, maybe I will find myself living here at some stage. I think I really should have been in there. They're setting up a silver service type dinner, but that's the Philharmonic Orchestra where they conduct concerts in there, but it also looks like put on events in there. Now I've just got to navigate across this. This beautiful park, which is just behind the monument that commemorates all of the atrocities the Poles had to endure. Over in the distance we have the National Theatre, or the Poznan Theatre, and in front of it we've got this beautiful, I guess, pond or lake. Really, really is a nice park. Obviously a few problems in the park, but the majority, very, very beautiful. It almost reminds me of the town Martin McFly lives in, you know, opposite the town hall, the lake in front of it. This is in, I think, 2015. When they go from 1985 to 2015, there's a little lake there.
Something very familiar about all this.
And you get stuck on the hoverboard. Batter up! That's what it reminds me of. Or it's just my mind working differently, I'm not sure. A bit of a photo shoot going on here, but I think while they're doing the photo shoot, I will get myself a coffee. Hi.
Hello.
Do you take card?
Yeah, take my card.
Fantastic. A flat white, please.
Flat white. Okay. Like Soviet Union's like houses, like typical Soviet Union houses with 4 or 5 like floors, and they look better than in Belarus, like really.
But they're nice. I've stayed in a lot of Soviet buildings, and they're solid buildings.
I was
they're nice.
living in one in Belarus, and you know, like it was not in very good condition. Like, you know, like maybe in France it will be good, it will look good and nice, but when you come into this building, it's not good then. So it depends from house to house.
What's the rent like in Poznan? Do you rent?
No, I live here in the dormitory.
Okay.
I pay 625 zloty per month, and I live with a neighbor, so I have a roommate.
Okay.
Yeah, something like
625 zloty. I need to translate. Yeah.
It's not very high.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll let you save a customer.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Dzień dobry.
I tell you, that is good coffee. So if you're actually like Ilka Bike Cafe, so this guy cycles his bike to this beautiful point in Poznan. He's originally from Minsk in Belarus. It's probably how my channel got started. It wasn't until I got to Minsk, Belarus, did I start really filming these videos seriously. Originally I started on an iPhone 7.
Is that an iPhone?
It kind of reminds me of Minsk a little bit. Thankfully it doesn't have the authoritarian government.
Oh, wait.
It does now.
A power struggle is on between President Duda and Prime Minister Donald Tusk.
Tusk, yeah.
Poland?
What have you done?
The Warsaw police raided the presidential palace. They went in to capture 2 fugitives. Fugitives who also happened to be members of parliament.
An interruption of the program on Polish state television. After rushing on set, the presenter explains to viewers that the channel has been taken off air before being ushered away himself.
In the corridors of Polish television, a radical transformation is taking place. The team at TVP say they're ending 8 years of propaganda.
Propaganda. We've been had.
There are police officers everywhere.
I'm a cop, and you will respect my authority.
That's because there is a fight over the airwaves. Last month, the TV studios were besieged by opposition MPs, angry the new government had sacked the TV management and taken the main news channel off air. It's part of a much broader power battle. At this rally, the crowd chanted insults at Donald Tusk and portrayed the Prime Minister as a traitor.
Unless, of course, you think that's just the sound of propaganda falling out there.
But everything's clean around here, and everything's well maintained, and you can tell when things are fixed up. As an example here, look how beautiful these cobblestones. And this is the reason it takes such a long time for the construction to happen. I wish they put this effort in England. In England, it's just a patchwork of mess.
Tyrants we're up against have men, money and guns, and I don't have an army to fight them with.
Educated bunch, the Poles. Never had an uninteresting conversation with the Poles. When you got the Polish builder helping you out in London or anywhere, they've always got a lot to say for themselves. I wish that was true of every culture.
What's you trying to say? Well, stop turning everything around. You're so damn touchy.
But they're doing something right, the Poles.
I've always been rather fond of the Poles myself.
A little bit of Masonic symbolism going on here. We have obelisks on the bridge. I think I need to find out what the name of this bridge is. Just crossing over railways. Like I say, one of my reasons to come to Poznan frequently is when I want to visit Berlin. Poznan offers an alternative airport to Berlin. Berlin, you might spend 100 to 150 return to get there and back from London. But when I was trying to fly 2 days ago, it was costing €200 just to get back to London from Berlin. But I found a flight from Poznan that was going to cost me £20, €25.
I suppose it's cheaper.
You can see how modern these trams are. Very modern system. Everything's electric. Cuts down on the pollution, very efficient. You can see how often these trams come, every 2, 5, 10, 12 minutes. It's a decent system. To get to the concentration camp that is on the west side of the city, it's going to take me about 32 to 35 minutes to walk there.
So I thought.
Obviously, I'm not going to show you the whole way unless it's something interesting. A couple of reviews say it's a long way out of the city. Is it really worth it? But I think when you have significant things like that going on in one's history, I think 32 to 35 minutes of your time is nothing compared to the fact that people that ended up there, that was the last time that they had.
I believe, as the name suggests, this is a tribute to women who have played an important role in the public transportation sector or have made a notable impact in the local community, particularly in the context of tram services.
I was considering getting a tram to this site, but then I thought, well, it's only going to save me 10 minutes and I need the steps, and then I would also miss what's en route. And I'm glad I did, because look at this, there's this beautiful market that I've just discovered. Cherries, we've got all types of fruit, peaches, tomatoes. This is the thing, if you try your best to walk places, some really good fruits and veg here. I was in Potsdam just the other day, Potsdam just outside Berlin, where King Frederick used to have his palace. And I was told that King Frederick would spend up to €100 for one cherry because he loved them that much. But here, I think it's 14 to the pound. Pretty good. Everything is here. You get flowers for one's lady, you can get dinner. Look at these juicy tomatoes, Polish tomatoes. Wow. Wow. I mean, summer fruits are here. This is wonderful. There's salads here, you fancy some lunch. This is really, really tasty. I've got the meat. I have to say, this is making my mouth water. I love these. Look at all these chicken eggs. All types. 170, 140 zloty. No, 150. I think it's 150 an egg. All these beautiful potatoes. Wow. 14 here. Even get your perfumes if you're feeling a bit stinky. You need some perfumes, and you need a good book to read. You get a good book. DVDs. 9 zloty for a DVD. I like it. Look at these beautiful flowers. I mean, this is, let me see the price of these flowers. So 42 zloty for those. 70 zloty for the plant. 23. That's why, generally, Eastern European men are more romantic than Western European men. The price of flowers in the West is probably about 5 times the price that it is in the East. Standard of living in the East, in my opinion, is far higher now than it is in the West, and it's probably the reason that the Polish GDP will surpass the UK's in a decade or less, because people are happy, people are productive, people aren't being totally abused by their governments. The government is here working for them, keeping their borders safe. It's the reason there hasn't been any terrorist attacks in Poland, because the Polish government keeps their people safe. Can't say the same about Western leaders. I think when people think of Poland, or at least think of Poland from the past, they think of buildings like this. And a lot has changed. I mean, we have this building from the past, and then we have these modern buildings over here. Beautiful balconies, actually very well designed. I'm not such a fan of some modern buildings, but I can see this one is well done. What's interesting is over here, it's like some sort of strange UFO tower. So it turns out I got it slightly wrong, and I can understand the reviews that say this place is miles away and very much outside the city. Turns out it's 55 minutes away from the Imperial Castle. In terms of walking, I got the location slightly wrong. I was looking at another monument. After about 25 minutes of walking, I jumped on a Bolt scooter. There's a code in the description below if you want to use a Bolt scooter. Gets you some free rides. I'm not sponsored by Bolt, but I got here. There's a boundary with Bolt scooters. You can only go so far within the city limits, and then you have to park up. You can't park in the red zone. So now I'm walking the rest of the way down this effectively very busy ring road to get to where I'm supposed to go. Up here, you can still see the fascist symbol, as you can see on the main gates. The fascist symbols side by side, and the fascism here.
Thank you to my postcard members. You are getting a postcard every single month, and thank you for watching. The next video will be this lesser known concentration camp, so stay tuned for that. Click that subscribe button and I will see you in the next video. In the meantime, maybe try this video for size.